Okay, our first story is what? The Monster's Monster by Patrick McDonald. He is our very favorite children's author. I highly recommend him, parents. He has lots of books to choose from. The Monster's Monster. All right, here we go. Ready? Grouch, Grump, and Little Gloom and Doom thought they were monsters. They lived in a dark monster castle, high atop a dark monster mountain, overlooking a monster-fearing village. See, they're all like, ah! Their little monster heads were always filled with big monster thoughts. Smash! Crash! And bash! Huffing and puffing, mad about nothing. Their 10 favorite words were no, 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 and no! Every day they argued over who was the biggest, baddest monster. Who could complain the loudest? Ooh. Who could throw the most terrible tantrum? Who was the most miserable? These debates always ended in a brawl. All right, let's see. One day, they decided to settle the argument once and for all. Grouch got some tape, tacks, staples, and glue. Grump found some gunk gauze and gobs of goo. Gloom and Doom grabbed bolts, wire, and a smelly old shoe. Together, they would make a monster. The biggest, baddest monster ever! They hoisted their creation into the sky where, bam! A lightning bolt sent a powerful jolt through the creature. Zzz, zzz. The monster started to twitch. "He's alive! Alive!" the little terrors exclaimed. The monster roared as he stumbled around, tearing away his bandages. "Big!" Little Gloom squealed. "Bad!" Little Doom squeaked. "Monster!" They all cheered together. The growling giant reached toward them, and then, in a deep, booming voice, he said his first words. "Thank you!" He crushed them to his chest with a tight squeeze. "Thank you, thank you, thank you!" Monster wiggled his stubby monster fingers and tapped his clunky monster feet. He looked around in wonder and threw open a window. The room filled with warm early dawn light, birdsong, and dewy fresh air. Monster smiled and let out a little giggle. Hee! "What do you think you're doing?" cried Grouch. Monster bounced around the room, gently greeting the many bats, rats, spiders, and snakes around him. "No, no, 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 no!" shouted the group. "You're supposed to be a monster!" But Monster didn't think he was a monster. He didn't think he was anything. But thankful to be alive. Monster became still, sniffing a hint of sweetness in the air. Suddenly he let out a roar and smashed through the dungeon wall. "Ha-ha!" Grouch laughed. "He's finally coming to his senses." "Yes, yes," shouted Grump. "He's off to make mayhem in the village." "He's going to smash, crush, and bash," cried Gloom and Doom. The rascals dashed after Monster, trying to keep up with his long strides down the mountain. "Monster! Monster!" they cheered after him. The village bakery was just opening for the day when Monster plowed through the front door. So he goes in there. Grouch, Grump, and Gloom and Doom anxiously waited outside the shop, peering through the dusty windows. "Big!" whispered Gloom. "Bad!" whispered Doom. "Shh, shh!" begged Grump. "I want to hear the howls and yowls." There was a tense quiet, and then finally from inside the bakery they heard, "Thank you!" Monster appeared, clutching a white paper bag. Then he turned and headed out of town toward the beach. "After him!" the trio cried. "Monster! Monster!" Monster slowly knelt down on the soft, cool sand. Grouch, Grump, and Gloom and Doom collapsed in a heap around him. As they tried to catch their breath, Monster gently patted their heads. He carefully opened the bag and gave each of them a warm, powdered jelly donut. Grouch, Grump, and Gloom and Doom were speechless. But then they remembered what their big bad monster had said. "Thank you." Monster looked at them and smiled. They smiled back, and together they all started to giggle. Grouch, Grump, Little Gloom and Doom, and their new friend sat quietly on the shore, watching the sunrise. And the seagulls playing, and the seagrass dancing, and the ocean glistening, and no one was thinking about being a monster. Okay. That was The Monster's Monster by Patrick McDonald. All right. Next up we have Professor Wormbog in Search for the Zipperump-a-zoo by Mercer Mayer. All right. See that? Professor Wormbog collected beasties. He had every beast from A to Y, but his collection was incomplete. There was no Zipperump-a-zoo in the place marked Z for... You see all those monsters he has? See, he has them, but look. The Zipperump-a-zoo had never been caught. Without further ado, Professor Wormbog decided to catch one. See, that's what the Zipperump-a-zoo looks like, and no one knows where to find them. All right. He dug a pit, both deep and wide. He covered it with sticks and leaves and baited it with tangos and wild yucananas. Oh, see? All night long he waited. There he sees knitting a sweater, or knitting a sock. Yeah. Waiting for the Zipperump-a-zoo. In the early morning, a loud crash woke him from his sleep. Oh, he's like, ah! All right. Rushing down, he hoisted out his catch. But it wasn't a Zipperump-a-zoo. You can see him? That's not a Zipperump-a-zoo, is it? All right. Perhaps a Zipperump-a-zoo can be found in the sea, thought the professor. With baited hook, he set out in a motorboat. See, there he goes in his motorboat, out to get a Zipperump-a-zoo. Brush your teeth. All right. First, he caught a big blow-fat glowfish, but he had one already, so he let it go. There's the blow-fat glowfish. See him? Okay. Then he caught a great glurn of the sea, but he had 2 of them at home, so he let it go. There's the great glurn. Then something deep under the sea took hold of his line. "This must be the Zipperump-a-zoo," cried Professor Wormbog. "How fierce it is!" Uh-oh. What do you think it is? Let's find out. After many long hours, he pulled in his catch. But it wasn't a Zipperump-a-zoo. Look, it's him again. He keeps eating all his bait, doesn't he? These guys are saying, "Let's go to work for Island Joe." Who's Island Joe? See those monsters there? All right. Perhaps Zipperump-a-zoos fly through the air, thought Professor Wormbog, and he disguised himself as a feathered croonie. See? Dangling from a bunch of balloons, he rose rapidly into the sky. There he is. See, he's going up. However, Isabella, queen of the croonies, took one look at the disguised professor and fell madly in love. Oh no, she's in love with Professor Wormbog. That's not going to end well. She took him home to her nest to live happily ever after. Luckily for Professor Wormbog, a storm was brewing. See, look, now he's trapped up there in her nest. All right. Ugh, the rain washed away the glue and the wind blew away the feathers. One look at the professor without his feathers and Isabella's heart was broken. "Leave," she told him. "Be gone, depart." So he's like, phew. But she's all sad up there. All right. Professor Wormbog hiked to the top of a craggy peak and looked and looked. But when the peak looked back, uh-oh. See, look, it wasn't a mountain. It was a monster. He knew it was time to go. No place for a Zipperump-a-zoo, he thought. So he's like, oh no, I gotta run. All right. Deep in caves and caverns beneath the earth he traveled. Perhaps a Zipperump-a-zoo can be found here, he thought. See? Do. Look, he's going down there. All right. He looked and looked, even in the blackest pit of all. He's like, oh no, look, it's the bottomless pit. Okay. But nothing of interest could be seen. No Zipperump-a-zoo here either, he said. Oh, he's all disappointed. But look, see, they've got a band down there. All right. At least they have music in the bottomless pit. All right. Quite disappointed, Professor Wormbog went home. All right, you see? See, there he goes. He's going home. He's like, can't find it. All right. Way over there. Ugh. See, look, he comes in the door and all his mail has been waiting for him. Couldn't find the Zipperump-a-zoo. He took off his dusty clothes and jumped into a hot bath. See him there? He's like, oh. Tired and weary, he pushed open his front door, took off his dusty clothes, and took a bath. There we go. Missed a line. There he is. He made a snack of cookies and milk and curled up before the fire with his favorite book. Ugh. Too bad, said Professor Wormbog with a sigh. I guess I'll never have a Zipperump-a-zoo of my very own. Can you see anything in this picture? Can you see anything that maybe he should look at? Look over here. What's that? And then he falls asleep. And the Zipperump-a-zoos are in his house already. Look at them. They're all playing and hanging out, having a party, hanging on his clothesline, sliding down the banister. Silly Professor Wormbog. The end. So, that was Professor Wormbog in Search for the Zipperump-a-Zoo by Mercer Mayer. He has a whole series of these monster books that are super fun, and the illustrations are really great. All right, I think we have time for one more. All right. Don't Push the Button by Bill Cotter. All right, here we go. Don't push it. It's not smart. I'm not going to push the button, right? All right. Hi, my name is Larry. Welcome to my book. There is one rule. Don't push the button. Don't push it. You don't want to push it. Seriously, don't even think about it. Oh, it does look pretty nice, though. I wonder what would happen if we pushed it. Oh, what do you think? No, we can't. We mustn't. Mustn't push the button. Psst. No one is looking. You should give the button one little push. All right, you ready to push the button? There you go. Did you get it? Okay. Ah! Now I'm yellow. Push it again. Eek! Now I'm yellow and polka dot. Push it twice. Ah, now there's two of me. Push it a bunch of times. Push, 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 push. Oh, man. Uh-oh. Oh, look at all those Larrys. Oh, no, and they're all different colors. What's he gonna do? Shake the book to get rid of all the extra Larrys. All right, we're gonna shake it. Ready? Shake the book. Shake the book. Shake the book. Oh, almost. A little more. All right, Larry. All right, Larry, we're shaking. Shake the book. Shake the book. Shake the book. Oh, okay. There we go. It says here to scratch Larry's tummy to get him back to normal. All right, can you scratch his tummy? Scratch, 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 scratch. Got it? Okay. Let's see if that worked. That tickles. Okay, much better. Let's not push the button again. But that was kind of fun. Maybe just a couple more pushes? The end. All right, so that was Don't Push the Button by Bill Cotter. All right, friends, let's see how we're doing. All right. That's it for me. I hope you guys had fun. I hope you enjoyed the stories. And tune in again tomorrow night for some more story time. Mwah. Love you all. Be good to your parents. Brush your teeth. Do all the good things.